God of War 3 Chaos Difficulty Mode, Hidden Cavern Passageway. So, these enemies right here, these scorpions, they could deal some significant damage to you. So you have to constantly block these guys' attack. Fortunately, they can be grab killed, and fortunately, also they have they yield health. So it's not that much, but when you kill a lot of them, you see how much it dealt that damage. And when they're in a group, they could just like henpeck you, and you could really get killed really quickly. And we're gonna have to be dealing with these guys on the next boss fight, the Scorpion boss fight, which is extremely cheap, and which has no checkpoints except when you finish them off. So I would really recommend having that the Nemean Cestus upgraded to level 5. It's going to help you out tremendously. So hobble on over here and turn this wheel. Yeah, you definitely need that Cestus up to level 5, because unfortunately the only thing that could destroy that Scorpion's onyx shielded legs is the Nemean Cestus. Okay, so I think there's some more scorpions in here, and I'm not really a fan of this type of area where it's just so dark you can't even see anything. You know, you can do the solar flash, but it only works in areas that are like contained. Like if you'll see when I go into this outer area and start traversing this beam over here, using the solar flash will be useless, and I think I may even do it. Or I may not, because simply I know what's going on. I know it's not going to help me. So over here, we're going to face some different type of Medusas pretty soon. Once we get on this cargo net and jump our way up. And I was confusing these smaller these weaker Medusas for the larger Gorgons that we faced in Hades, and which we faced every other time except in this fight up ahead. So here's some more scorpions, and using that solar flare seems to stun these guys for a moment. Using the Cyclone of Chaos on these guys is kind of risky, because like I said, they love to like sting you, and when there are a bunch of them, I really wouldn't do it. You're just going to get hit too much, regardless of how well you think it shields you in that circular animation. It really doesn't shield you that much. So, you know, just take your pick. I had a pretty good run on the Scorpion boss fight, and you really have to have a clean and good and kind of lucky run on that guy. So you know, that's the difficult thing about doing a guide for that boss fight, because things can go either pretty well, you know, to the point where you get a victory in, or it's just a nightmare. He hits you, if he jabs you with his claws, it hits you. Like if you're at full health, you can survive, but if you're at less than 3/4 health, you're dead. And you know, that's with a full bar of health too, so it's pretty crazy. So we have another notebook entry here by Daedalus. So he's been up there for thousands of days. And okay, over here is a interesting fight. We have you see the pair of treasure chests over here. So we need to complete this cube puzzle. And that's going to, for some reason, ruin Daedalus' plans. So there's I think that's Pandora. Yeah, that's Pandora in that middle section. I never really even noticed her. But she's hanging out in the middle there, and there's Daedalus. He's really hanging out there. And that's voice acted by Malcolm McDowell, the guy who was in Clockwork Orange. He's in, you know, that new Halloween movie. Well, no, I guess it's not new anymore. He was in the remade version of it with Rob Zombie's version. So here are these guys again, and remember, if you'll recall, we dealt with these foes outside the Olympian Citadel, and I spammed this move right here, the square triangle move, and here I'm spamming it again. I really wouldn't call it spamming though, because this is a great move to stun these enemies, to the point where they just can't really move around. They could barely get off an attack. So you're going to notice we have a Cyclops lurching up into the battleground, and I was complaining a lot when I was playing Chains of Olympus, not having enough area to move around in with huge foes. But this right here, this is a good environment to fight large enemies like this. This is fine. In Chains of Olympus, they threw a whole bunch of large enemies at you, and not only was the roll mechanic poor, but you had very little wiggle room. So this could be disastrous over here. You do need to hop on this guy and dispatch some of these Cyclopses using his huge cudgel. So, you know, this doesn't really work well. You know, you'll try to tap the square button, tap the triangle button, and like, see, I went through that guy right there, and that was kind of weird. When I say it doesn't work well, I'm talking about like it doesn't seem to respond to your button commands. I mean, you'll press the square button, and then like you'll see it work like a couple seconds later, or that's what I feel sometimes. So look at what we look at what we have here. We got 4 Cyclopses here, and I could have minimized this a lot better by using that Cyclops more to deal more damage to these Cyclopses. But in my defense, it doesn't work very well, and I don't really mind fighting a bunch of these enemies. You know, if I could do well. It's also kind of a test of see if I could do it or not. There is a trial called Hades Kids Part 1 with these guys, but you know, when they're in a large group like this, you're only required to kill like 1. You need to make 5 of them spawn, but when there's 4, you only have to kill 1, and then that causes the 4 to spawn. Hades Kids 1 is extremely easy. Hades Kids 2, that's another story. Way beyond the call of what people can do. A normal person would be required or expected to do with the skills to beat this game on, you know, even like normal difficulty. It's just way too hard. But I've beaten it a couple times. A lot of people have beaten it. If you have beaten it, let me know. I'd be interested to know who's beaten that, because I've heard a lot of people say that they've done those trials, but that doesn't mean they've really beaten them. They've played them. Personally, I think Switchblade is the hardest trial of every single trial. There's 14 of them. But I apologize for going off topic there for a moment. But remember, you need to get those chests. So here, I believe I upgraded the Cestus to level 5. If memory serves, yeah. So I had enough to upgrade to level 5. So it's entirely possible to get this weapon up to level 5. I would be interested to see if in God of War Ascension that they made some kind of like some kind of armor to make yourself a little more resilient for getting hit. That's always been kind of an issue for me in God of War. Like, you know, maybe something to upgrade that would enable me to get hit a little bit less. I don't know, it seems a little too RPG for this type of game, but still, it'll be interesting. You know, I wouldn't mind that type of change to a God of War game. I mean, they added a lot of stuff to this game that I didn't really agree with. Namely, the shoes. I don't really care about the shoes. I could have done without the shoes. Even this lamp, you know, I could have done without that. So we're going to illuminate this hidden wall here and hit the save point, and we're going to do a few more things leading up to the Scorpion boss fight. So over here, there's a chest on either side, as well as a note, and then we're going to get this scene here. So there's a really well-hidden chest down on the floor level 2, as well as that chest over there. We're going to be able to grab that. So here's another note from Daedalus. A lot of these notes refer to his son, who we struggled with, and we fought in a really cool battle in God of War 2, which I think is a better game than this. I mean, this don't get me wrong, this is an awesome game, and it plays perfectly for all purposes. But I just enjoy that title better. It's got a longer campaign. So you want to head on over here to the right. There's 4 breakable objects, and then this chest over here, which is going to give us orbs, since we have all of the items from previous chests. So you see right there, it gave us a lot of orbs. So that's what you really need to do if you're looking to upgrade all your weapons. You need to find those items early on in the game. So we're going to plug that hole up there. And what do I do here? I think... What was I doing there? I'm not sure what I was doing. Sometimes I just press the menu just to see what's going on with my orb level. So you could we are going to be coming back to that chest. So if you don't want to get that chest right now, don't worry about it. I just decided to get it. So once we actually get the Boreas Ice Storm, we're going to be able to interact with that thing on the ground and lower the thing that's blocking us from going to the left. So head on down here, and I don't believe there's any enemies over here up until the platform where the elevator is. So just always look in every little corner, because they're usually going to hide a chest on you. So pull this lever here, and it's going to take us up to the next area. And I think some scorpions greet us. Yep. So I have the blaze up to level 4 right here. And, okay, so this is the part where I was mentioning the Medusas. And, okay, so another part where using the solar flare with the L2 and holding it down, it doesn't help you when you're crossing these beams. It won't illuminate anything, because I think the logic behind that is that, and I'm probably sure I don't even bother to do it here, but be careful. You could fall off this platform rather easily, that beam walkway. So the Medusas over here, once we got on this cargo net, these are the Medusas that appear in the Get Stone trial, and I was confusing these guys for the huge ones that we face in Hades. So illuminate this. It's helpful to illuminate that, and you're going to see me try to kill these enemies and try to finish them off. Now, normally, you can really easily exploit the ability to deflect the parry. I mean, excuse me, what am I saying? Deflect their stone gazes, and you could pretty much basically just freeze them, and it will get them every time. Well, not every time, I would say, but pretty consistent. That this is a really easy area, but as you can see, the visibility is limited. But you see how the lighting effect of the freeze gaze really lights up everything. So, so the reason I am, like, you'll see me purposely not try to get the parry her freeze attack is because I'm trying to kill this enemy and get a little bit more magic. Because when I got to the Scorpion boss fight, I did two things wrong. First of all, I used too much magic on the that huge battle with the Cyclopses earlier in this video, and the second thing I did wrong was I didn't kill enough of the Scorpions before the boss fight, and so every time the boss fight started, there were just too many Scorpions around. So I started over, and you can get a little bit of magic. It's hard to leave two of these Medusas on the map, because it's hard to, like, not hit. You know, it's such a confined little area. You're bound to stone shatter them on accident. So that was the purpose. I purposely did not get stone there on purpose. So my whole intention right here was to just get the circle prompt over their heads, and this is the only time we see these enemies in the game. These lesser Medusas. So it's kind of odd. You know, some of the enemies you see them one time and that's it. But remember to head on over here. So I think this is where I attempted to use a solar flare, knowing what it would do. Maybe I didn't. But if you use a solar flare here, it's not going to do a single thing as far as lighting up anything. It'll give you like a moment of brightness, but then everything will just not turn to light, so it's not good. So a bunch of orbs up here, a bunch of orbs. Thousands of orbs in these chests up here. And just carefully fall down, because it's easy to fall off these beams. Really easy to. You see right there? It gave us a little bit of illumination, but not enough to even walk any distance. So right there I was just pointing out the how ineffective that is when you're in open areas and using that solar flare. So I think we get a little break from the Scorpions over here, or not? No, we don't. We sure don't. So it's really easy to get interrupted by these Scorpions, and they just take a lot of damage from you. You know, and when a bunch of them are stabbing at you and trying to poison you, it can get really chaotic. So there is a treasure chest with magic and health in it prior to the boss fight. But the thing about this game, and they kind of carried it over from God of War 2, is that these chests, they only give you half of your gauge filled up. So killing that Medusa gave me a little bit more magic than I would normally have, and it allowed me to almost fill up my magic. Let's see what happens here. I think I get all my health back, but it doesn't matter about health, because your health regenerates slightly every time you die. So yeah, I almost got my magic all the way back. That was fine enough for me. And then make sure you smash that vase. It's easy to miss that one. But it's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Anyway, so I think the game pauses right over here, and I mean locks you in place. And for this scene here with these Scorpions, and I would try to kill as many of these guys as quickly as possible, because the next video is going to be the Scorpion boss fight, and when he jumps in, that's the boss fight. And however many of these Scorpions are left on the map, they kind of stay like in the immediate vicinity of the boss. So try to kill as many of these guys as you can. That's a great move right there to do, the jumping and press the L1 and triangle button, but I don't think I have the blades up to level 5, so that'll take care of this video.